Assalamu alaikum fam, hope you're doing well. So let's say you are working on resisting temptation. You're working on becoming more chaste. I highly encourage you to keep doing that. Don't think it's too late that you can't change and that you can't become a chaste chick. Okay, let's say for example, you've slept with 50 dudes. You can stop now. You can say, you know what, I'm not going to do this anymore. I want to be married. I want to be a mother. I want to have children. I don't want to be a sloppy second. I don't want to be the bottom dog who gets humped by every stud. I want to be better. You can do it. Allah is the most forgiving, right? The most merciful. Allah can raise whom He wills and lower whom He wills. Through knowing that, you can seek repentance. You can forgive yourself for what you've done. And you don't have to any longer take pride in being known to every guy in the neighborhood. You can do better. You can delete the Tinder app. You can delete your OnlyFans. You can do it, and you should do it. You can take your old clothes, throw them away. You can buy new, more modest clothes, and you can change. Let's say you've been very promiscuous at work, very flirty, very sexual. You've always said inappropriate comments. Maybe you mentioned too many sexual jokes at work. You can change that. It might be easier for you to change jobs and start fresh, but you can start anew. So, for example, let's say, in the kitchen when I used to work around the restaurant industry, it's sex all day. People talking about dirty things non-stop. All the freaking time. So let's say you're around that, and sometimes people get pressured to kind of fit in and say a joke as well. Now, if you want to change, you can leave that area, or move, or go clean something. You can avoid talking like that, right? Let's say further, you want to change and you want to help others change. Well, let's say a chick at work is saying like, oh my god, I got so drunk, I was just like, oh, and I just took a picture of my vag and posted it. Like, something very dirty, right? Maybe when she's eating and you kind of talk to her, you're in the break room, you'd be like, hey, can I talk to you for a second? You know, the way in which you behave really makes me uncomfortable. Can you, stop? Whatever way you have to say it to that person's particular consciousness, do it. Now, if it's your friend, and let's say you've been talking dirty and saying disgusting things for years with this person, you can tell them, you know, next time they joke with you, I'm really trying to do better, and I don't feel like it's mentally healthy for me to participate in this kind of hedonistic, lustful behavior. I'm on a different path now, and I'm kind of trying to reform my life. Do you think you could stop joking with me like that? It really would help. You may feel embarrassed saying this, and they may react to you a little bit weird. But you, by saying that, might help them to think and reform. I understand nowadays we have, just so much everywhere, right? But at work, try to be as professional as you can and cutting down the sexual stuff as much as you can. And let's say you're afraid, well, if I start acting virtuous, my manager will no longer want to talk to me, everyone will turn against me, I'll be the black sheep of the work environment, and then I'll feel so uncomfortable, people will call me a party pooper, and they will just isolate me, and I'll be so miserable, I'll quit. Okay, well then quit. But let's say you still want to keep that job. Slowly disassociate from speaking that way. So let's say you feel awkward and not responding. Let's say someone says ooh, mira la mamacita, look at that lady. You can be like, anyways, so did you check order number 27? Switch it. This is a great way to work on that. And some guys, there used to be busboys who would always try to flirt with me back in the day. You know, they lean on the line and they look you up and down. they gaze at you for too long, and you're sitting there waiting for the cook to tell you, like, the order's coming, and you're like, I can't move from this spot because this is my spot where I have to wait for my food orders, but this busser is just hanging around. And, you know, even if you go complain to the manager, they'll look at you like you're the whiny one. But in a situation like that, you can turn your gaze away, and he might say something rude to you, like, oh, mira este pendejo. Like, they might say something bad to you, whatever, right? Something derogatory under their breath, and the men might joke, but call you a prude or whatever. But you can endure with grace and be different, right? Another thing you could do, which I highly recommend, if you're up for it, is, let's say a chick at your work is saying something very vulgar. She can't stop talking about sexual things, and you're there and you can't leave because you just have to be there, right? You can kind of roll your eyes a little bit and be like, let others see that you are changing, right? Because the work environment can shift when a leader shifts it from that negative environment, shifts it to a better route. So you have to lead by example and change yourself, right? And let me tell you, you should avoid talking about sex at work because it may be fun for a while and that guy's girlfriend may not find out. But if she finds out and she beats you down at your job, you can go to jail, you'll have drama. And what if you have a boyfriend who doesn't know that you've been talking dirty like that at work, and then he finds out what you've been doing, he leaves you, you lost your job, and then that chick hates you, and then you get this reputation in the community as a chick who was flirting with a married dude while she had a boyfriend, and she got beat up at her job. That can really happen. Because some women are like silent spies at work, right? They'll be like, oh, you know, like they'll hear you, and they're gonna go report about what you was doing. So you may think everybody's cool, everybody's talking like that, but somebody can trade on you and be a spy and tell people what you're saying, what you're doing. So you're putting a huge risk on yourself by engaging in this behavior. And I would say, think about the pain that you're causing. Think about the pain that you're causing if his wife, the mother of his children, likes you, she thought you were a nice lady whenever she visited her husband at work, and then finds out the same chick who was waving kindly to her is flirting and acting sexual to her husband. It'd break her heart. She'd feel betrayed. A lot of these women who talk about girl power are the same type of promiscuous, attention-seeking, naughty, degenerate women who then hurt other women in pursuit of their selfishness and narcissism. It's the most deepest level of hypocrisy and irony that's almost paradoxical, because they act in a way that increases vice and destroys families and wrecks homes and causes more abortions and STDs while complaining that the men are bad and that women don't have girl power. You have to change yourself. You have to be the change. So, don't think that you can't have a better path of decency. Stop. Even if, I knew one chick who said she slept with 600 dudes. You may think someone like that can never change, and I don't know if she has. But let's say you are one of those women, right? Stop. And if you haven't gotten an STD, get on your knees, prostrate, and thank Allah because you were spared. And remember, you can get multiple STDs. You can get chlamydia, syphilis, and AIDS. And if you think it's right to lie to a guy and that you should get pregnant and then give birth to a child who is infected with that many illnesses and you're not going to feel guilty, you have a very, putrid soul and you should reform yourself. If you don't have an STD right now, you've been spared that trial and you still have pure blood, just a lot of bad memories from some loser dudes, you have a chance to reform. You have a chance to change. Take that chance. Stop following the feminist, atheist liberals, the progressives who are lying to you about the joys of opening up to every guy, because a lot of those women you'll see I bet you, I'm telling you, we have so many hedonistic women now. When we're in our 50s and 60s, and the new generation rebels against the promiscuity of their mothers, we're going to see a change. Righteous children are not going to want to see videos and pictures and hear stories about how their mother traveled the world and, had a dude in every country. Right? Or their guy friends seeing videos of their mothers doing things. Or a man loves a woman, he thought of her one way and then finds out that there's all these videos of these that thousands of dudes have seen. It's a very weird feeling, and it shouldn't be normalized. That doesn't mean because hear me out. I was the child of a sex worker, so I understand how it feels when people look at you and say look, there's a child of a this or that. But we have to be different than our parents. We cannot continue the cycle that, breaks a family and leaves us wanting for a real nurturing, prairie-like mother. We have to be different. We have to change it. Not lie to ourselves, gaslight ourselves, and join the feminist liberal atheists who deny us our own sanity in knowing that, no, we don't want mothers like that. They have so much problems. They get, so many of them get into drugs, and the men are in and out of their lives, and we don't get to have a good dad. And, having fathers who you never get to have a real stepmom because next week it's another big-breasted bimbo. It's another chick, another chick, another chick. And then you're left empty on both sides. So if you have a good mother and a good father, praise Allah and treat them well and change your path. If you're promiscuous and you have good parents who are warning you or don't know what you do on the weekends, they don't know how vulgar you are, they don't know of your videos and stuff, you can change and you can stop it. If you have those guys in your phone who call you up in the middle of the night and are like, hey, what are you doing? Can I get a quickie in the car? Come downstairs. Let me bang it out. And then you go back upstairs. Get rid of their numbers. Block them. Or, if you feel even more guilty, tell them you're changing and not to contact you again. Ghosting is wrong. Ghosting is a very weird way that leaves a lot of people hurt. But explain to them, and maybe by you explaining to them that you're changing, maybe they'll be motivated to change themselves. If you just ghost them, they might be like, oh, this cunt, and then, they're gonna go do something else and hurt more women and become more bitter and have a more brutal outlook on life. So be a leader. Explain to people that you're changing at your work. Explain to your friends that you're changing. Don't be afraid to have less friends, and don't be afraid to take the laughter of people for wanting to be good and changing. And know that you don't have to be like your mother or your father if they were bad. You don't have to be like the celebrities you listen to anymore. You can stop idolizing the degenerates in society and take honor in knowing that Allah is pleased with what you're doing. Take honor in not participating in the dirty talk and hurting women behind their back and tempting men away from virtue. Don't be an Ishtar. Don't be it. You can be better. You can change. There is hope. There is forgiveness. There is repentance. You just have to seek it. You have to go for it. So if you see this video and you've made mistakes, change it. That's the beauty. Change, because every day the grave draws near. Every day the cemetery awaits you. Every day is a day closer to when you're going to enter into the dirt. And the flesh is going to rot from your bones. And your soul is going back to Allah Azza wa Jal to be judged. Imagine if you had to see a visual of all the women you hurt. All the families you separated because you couldn't resist jumping into every bed. Imagine the sounds of their cries, the sounds of the children crying because you broke their family. You broke their family. You can blame the guy, well, he came to me. Yeah, but it takes two to tango. And you could have said no, but you didn't. Imagine the weight on your accounting. The liberals, they won't be able to save you. Remember, Allah Azza wa Jal is the most powerful. He can do whatever He wills. No one can stop Him from punishing you, and nothing is hidden from Allah Azza wa Jal. You can hide from others, and you can even hide from your own self. But you can change, so do it. And your deeds will be forgiven, inshallah. But you have to start, and it's not going to be easy. But guess what? Everything that is glorious isn't easy. So if you change your friends, you change your role models, man, you'll be so much more happy with your reward in paradise than here on earth. Be strong. Be wise. Be better. Be more chaste. Get rid of those guys. Get rid of those women. And reform.